course, it would like click live as soon as I took a drink, right? All right. Hey, how are you? So I'm going to give it just a second to let everyone jump in that can join me live today. And yeah, so I'm really excited about all of these like mini, like super hyper focused like classes that I'm doing with you guys. So if you haven't had a chance to catch the previous Finding Success Challenge, like day 1 through 3, because today is day 4 of our challenge, okay? So this is really amazing. So we're doing this for the next few weeks. I'm going to be live with you every single day, which is amazing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And yeah, so if you haven't caught those, the past trainings that we've been doing here inside the group live, then please go back and watch those. And you know, it's just awesome how we can really start taking control of, you know, what it is that we want to do in our lives by just implementing certain simple little things. So that's awesome, okay? It's awesome. And yeah, so I'm kind of like losing my mind a little bit here. Yeah. So we've been a little under the weather the last couple days, and you know, that's okay. That's okay. We're still doing this. Anyway, so if you haven't caught the replays or you weren't able to catch the lives, please make sure you go back and catch those. And then I want you to jump down into the comments and tell me what your biggest takeaways were with all of your bread baking needs and things that you've been struggling with. If there is something specifically that you want to learn how to do or a problem that you specifically are encountering, my dear, I'm here for you. I want to help make this so much easier for you than it was for me in the beginning. This does not have to be hard. We can just let this be easy, my dears, okay? So if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them during the lives. And if I don't catch you in the live, then will come back and catch you later on. Because I don't want any of you to feel like that as if you have to do this on your own, or that it's a weakness to ask for help or anything along those lines. It's not a weakness to ask for help. It's actually one of the biggest key strengths to being successful is asking for help when you need it. And I'm here for you, okay? I'm here. I've been right where you are. I know how hard it can be in the beginning, or hell, even like halfway through the journey, and you start running into brand new problems that you've never had before, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Okay, been there, done that. All right, so, and then lastly, if you have not caught the master class that I recorded for you guys last week, go check it out. So just scroll down below. It's just right below this post, y'all. And I will come back and I'll add the link to the direct link so you can go straight over and watch it, because it is over on the YouTube channel. Because I just can't load those size of videos directly into the group anymore. It sucks. I wish I could just put all the trainings right directly here in the group. But, you know, that's just life. So we just roll with the punches, and we change as we have to. So any of our full trainings, almost all of them have to go onto the YouTube channel now. I can't just post them directly in the group. But I want to make sure you guys have full access to those, okay? Because you guys are exactly who it is that I'm making all those trainings for. I don't make those really for the general public. Yeah, they are public, but I make those for you guys, for y'all right here in this group. You're the ones that I'm thinking about when I'm making those, okay? So anyway, we are day 4, woo! Day 4, and we're still going strong, y'all. And today, we are talking all about scheduling your bread baking out. Because, come on, let's admit it, life is busy. Can you believe it's already February? How did we already go through an entire month of the new year? I'm still trying to wrap my brain around how we've already gone through the new year. It's insane, okay? And if you happen to remember, back in January at the new year. I don't remember exactly when I posted it out, but I was talking to you about setting your goals. Not resolutions, but goals. You have to set goals. Something that your heart truly wants. Like, what is something you want to see change in your life? What is that one beautiful dream that you just wish you could actually try? Stop talking about it and actually do it. Because, my dear, you're not going to know if you love it until you actually try it. It might be something that you've always dreamed of doing, but the moment that you actually try to do it, you're just like, I hate this. This is not for me. As soon as you get your hands in it, you're like, nope. So, you got to set goals. And you got to actually just get in there and give it a try, y'all. Because you're not going to know what you love until you actually just do it, okay? All right. So, honeys, my dears, my lovelies, set those goals if you didn't already do it at the beginning of the year. Because if you were setting resolutions, chances are you done have walked away from them. You're like, nope, I'm done. I can't live like that no more. This is just taking too much. It's just too much. That's okay, honey. All right, so instead of setting resolutions, you set goals. And if you already fell off the wagon with your resolution or got on the wagon, however that particular saying goes, it's always backwards to me in my brain. If you fell off and you're like beating yourself up about it, don't. Just don't. Almost everybody sets a resolution that is truly unrealistic to what they can really do. Or it goes against their actual nature of who they are, how they are. So for example, for me, yeah, I can sit back and I can make some 18 loaves of bread in a day, just since we're in our bread class here, right? So I can make 18 loaves a day of bread. Yeah, I can do that. But am I going to do that on a general basis? Absolutely not. So I can schedule it in that I'm going to knock out all these different like baking videos for you guys. I'm just going to whack them all out in one day. But the reality of it is I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to make it through 2, maybe 3 max, and I'm burnt out. Yes, technically there's still more hours in the day. Technically, yeah, I could keep going. But my own nature is like, heck no, we're done. I'm not doing anymore. And that is okay too, y'all. So when you're scheduling your life out, you need to schedule it according to what your nature is. Technically, yes, you could do all these things all at once, but the nature of you is like, no, as soon as I've gotten 3 tasks marked off my calendar for the day, I'm just done. I'm ready to walk away from work or home, whatever your situation is. You get those 3 tasks done and you're just like, nope, I'm done. I'm not going to keep going. And that's okay, honey. Same thing goes when you're baking bread, okay? When you're scheduling it out, you need to really kind of stop before you get going. So there's a few things that you're always going to have before you can even start. So if it's the first time you've been baking, this is what you have to have before you can start. And if you try to start before you have these things in place, then you're just going to set yourself up for failure. And you're going to end up beating yourself up because you're just not good enough. You just couldn't do it because of this. You couldn't do it because of that. You're going to fill yourself with all of the excuses and you're going to beat yourself up about it because you're not accomplishing the goal that you had originally wanted to do. But you've got to start at the beginning every single time. Even if this is not your first time, you have to always start there at the beginning. Always. And you just wash and rinse and repeat. You just keep doing it until you find your own flow to it, okay? So, before you start baking, you've got to have the right tools. Now, technically, you don't need hardly any actual tools to bake bread. you need a working oven, a good heat source. So that could be a conventional oven, that could be an earth oven, that could even be a cast iron Dutch oven, okay? It doesn't matter. But you do have to have that oven with a working heat source. Second, our standard modern ovens, you have to have some sort of a baking tray to put your dough on, or it's just going to make a huge mess in your oven. It's going to goop down through all the grates, and it's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be a horrible mess. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Don't do that, okay? You have to have something to bake it on, okay? So some might be going, well, this is just common basic sense. You'd be surprised how often people get ahead of themselves. They're like, oh, I can just do it without it. I don't have to. You know, they do it all the time in this situation. They have a different setup, okay? So you've got to have an oven and a working heat source, and then you have to have some way of creating semi-accurate measurements. So, you know, whether that's measuring cups or whatnot, just from getting everything mixed together. You've got to have all the required ingredients to make it. So that's all your flour, your yeast, any sugars if you choose to use them, and salts. You know, you have to have those things required. You must have flour, you must have yeast, you must have water, and you have to have salt, okay? You have to have those 4 things, all right? Got to have them, no matter what. You have to have those to make a good bread. Okay, next. So you've got your ingredients. You've got a working oven, and you've got your basic measuring tools. Before you can proceed, you also have to have some sort of a recipe as a starting ground, and you have to have basic instructions on how to do it. So if this is the first time you've been baking, you are literally learning from scratch, from the very, very beginning. You don't know what signs to be looking out for. You don't know what causes certain problems. You don't even know what to expect when it's happening. You just have this image in your head of what you would pick up from the store. Homemade bread is not like what you get from the store, my dear. Okay? It's just not. It's not. All right, so I need a drink. So I've not nearly had enough coffee yet. Not nearly enough coffee yet. All right. The next thing you have to get looking into, y'all, is your actual amount of time that you have available, okay? And let's face it, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing. Everybody is busy. We all have busy lives, okay? It's just that simple. That's why, like, for example, with me, it's shocking to me that it's already February of 2023. I'm like, where the hell did this past year gone? And the older we get, the more things we seem to put on our plate, which takes away from our same amount of 24 hours. The same hours that we had when we were a kid that seemed to just drag on, was never ending. As an adult, we're like, holy crap, it's already bedtime. How the hell did that happen? We're busy. And if you want to be successful in consistently baking your breads and to be stress-free while you're doing it, then, my dear, take note of your own personal habits, your own personal ways, so that when you set it up, you're setting it up realistically for something that you're actually going to do, not what you can do, what you actually will do, okay? That's important. That's one of the biggest important parts, really. And then you need to be going through and seeing how much bread do you and or your family actually eat in a week, all right? That's important because you don't want to be baking 3-4 times a week if you're literally only going to eat 1 loaf a week. So unless you're like purposely stockpiling it up, you know, and putting it away in your deep freezer so that you don't have to bake bread for like months and months throughout the winter or something, or in the summer, for example, like you only want to bake what it is that you're actually going to eat in that time frame. Then you also got to look into, okay, so say, just for example, say maybe you go through like 4, maybe 6 loaves a week, okay? So depending on what recipe you're using. So if you're using our fail-proof half-wheat buttermilk recipe, that makes 3 loaves every time. If you're using the honey oatmeal whole wheat recipe, that makes 2 loaves at a time. So you can easily double those recipes so that you only have to bake once a week, or you could easily, or you just make it the once, put it away, and then you got to keep in mind, where are you storing it? Are you storing it in your cupboards, which is actually the best place to keep your bread? Absolutely, hands down, best place to store your bread is in the cupboards. But it has a very short lifespan if it's sitting on the cupboards, because this is homemade. It's not filled with all those preservatives. The only preservative in your bread is actually the sugars that you add and the salt. So honey or sugar, either one, it's a preservative. So isn't salt. But we're doing homemade and we're looking at it from a healthier standpoint. So we've got those numbers down there as low as possible in most cases and still have that amazing taste. Okay, we'll put that in there. You still got to have the amazing taste, but at the same time, it's a healthier version. So that's what I teach. I teach a healthier version of old traditional recipes, okay? And that's just because our actual nutritional consumption needs are not the same now as they were, for example, my grandparents. Go back to like the 1930s, life required a lot more strength, a lot more energy, so you needed those extra calories. In our modern day, we don't need that amount of extra calories for the most part in most of our jobs, in our daily lives. Now, yes, that varies dramatically, depending on your particular situation and what you do in your life. Most of us, we don't need that many calories, and the foods that we get in the modern day, like convenience sort of way, they are like packed with calories. So making homemade bread is one way to help control all that and keep it, in a healthier, kind of frame, sort of say. All right, so if you are needing 4 to 6 loaves of bread a week, then that means that you actually, okay, so bread in the cupboard. I'm sorry, my brain is kind of fizzing out here. If you're storing it in your cupboard, it lasts for 3 to 4 days, okay? So that means that you need to make bread at least twice a week, okay? And honestly, depending on the temperature in your cupboards, sometimes day 4 is a stretch, okay? So I always bake every 2 days. Like that is pretty much my system. So 2 to 3 days is my baking system. So for me, I generally will bake on Sunday, make up a new batch of homemade bread for Sunday. That way when everyone goes to work and to school on Monday, they all have fresh bread to start the week off with for their lunches. And then again on Tuesday, I will start the next batch. Now, yeah, I'm still going to have part of my last batch from Sunday. But by the time they get done, but by the end of Tuesday, we're only going to have maybe a half a loaf in the cupboards at the end of Tuesday. So we get to move right into Wednesday with a new fresh batch of homemade bread that's already made. And then again on Thursday. So I bake Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So it's basically every other day. Every now and then I do have to change my Sunday bake to a Saturday bake. And it varies. It depends on how much bread y'all are going through. Certain times of the year you're going to find that you go through a lot more. And different times of bread, or different times of year, you're going to find that you go through more of one type of bread than you do other times. For example, biscuits. Biscuits is a is a summertime like dish. Seriously, in the summertime, you just want those biscuits, man. Biscuits are amazing. Country buttermilk biscuits. Oh, so good. All right, and if you want one of those recipes, you know what? I've got one for you. In fact, I'm going to be putting our buttermilk biscuit recipe into a downloadable, savable version recipe that y'all can print off. So if you want to get that, shoot me a message and I will send you a direct link to go get that, because it's a brand new thing that I'm just putting out to you guys. So I have a lot of these recipes I've shared with you right here inside the group that I've never actually gone through and put it into PDF form for you guys, where you guys can just go grab it from me for free. So that's pretty cool. All right, so using my schedule, just as an example, okay? Now, my schedule does vary. There's times I only bake once a week. So I'll go through and I'll do up a big double batch where I'm pulling out 4 or 6 loaves in one big batch. And then I just put the extra in my fridge, or I put it into the deep freeze, and I just let it, and that holds me over. So when I've got a really busy week ahead of me, that's what I do. That way I can continuously keep my cupboards full of fresh homemade bread. And I don't have to worry about it going bad, because on the shelf, I can keep it for 3 to 4 days. In the fridge, fresh from the oven, I can keep it for about 10 days. In my deep freeze, I can keep it up to 6 months, honey. And it's still going to be amazing and beautiful and wonderful. Okay? All right. So, when you have that knowledge and then combine it with just your hands-on time and skill going into it, then you get to start finding that happy little niche just for you. You start finding your groove, finding what works the best for you, okay? So all I can do is just share what I've found work the best for my situation, and, the lessons I've learned, the hard ones and the amazing, beautiful ones. I can share with you what I have learned that works well for me, my family, and our crazy busy schedules, okay? So this is what works for me, and what works for me may not work the best for you. So take everything with a grain of truth, okay? Everything as a grain of salt, and just reapply those pieces and parts to your own life as you see that they fit together, okay? So it's a beautiful way. So, my dears, you can schedule your bakes out. And when you are scheduling them out, I truly, truly, highly suggest always picking one set day to get started with. In the very beginning, only do 1 bake a week, okay? Now, yeah, you can go ahead and bump it up to where you're baking twice a week, and that's going to cover most families and individuals, like, easily. I just have a bigger family, and, so I have to bake a little more often, just because we go through a lot. All right, so I forgot what I was saying. Okay, set days. Okay, so look at your schedule. So what is a day that you are off from work? So these are days, like, for example, I have set days where I go through and, like, full-on clean my house. So Sunday's like a full-on clean my house kind of day. I'm always busy the rest of the week. And even Sundays, I have to, like, really hold myself back from, like, going up to the office and working on office stuff, or, working on all these other things. Sundays, I reserve as much as possible for my family and for getting my house cleaned. All right? Doesn't always work that way, but that's what I'm aiming towards. All right? So if you start setting certain days of the week, that absolutely say Sunday, for example, you're going to clean your house. Okay? if you're already in your house and you're going to be home and you're already going to be in your kitchen, because come on, the kitchen is one of the hardest parts of the house to keep clean, especially if you're the only one doing it, my dear. Just have it just set that you're already going to be in the kitchen. So every Sunday, you're going to go ahead and bake, okay? And then, depending on what your own personal needs are and how you're going to store your bread and what recipes that you're using, depending on the yield that they make, then you're going to arrange the rest of the following days, okay? So I never suggest longer than 3 days in between your bakes, because you still want to have bread in your cupboard when you are making your next batch. You don't want to wait until your cupboard is empty before you start making it. You want to start just before you run out, okay? And sometimes you have to just not set that second baking day until you've actually gone through and seen how your family goes through it. Now, when you first start making homemade bread, y'all, you're going to go through it like crazy, like wildfire. It's going to be pow, gone. Honestly, as soon as I pull a loaf out of the oven, guaranteed within the hour, I'm going to be down a loaf. Not even joking. Now, if I'm constantly keeping the homemade breads going and I haven't fell off, my bandwagon here sort of thing, then, my family's not going to attack it as bad, which means it's going to last a little bit longer. Now, on the flip side, if I stop making homemade breads, which I actually have many, many times in the past because life was busy or I was just tired or wasn't feeling well, life happens. It's okay to give yourself a little bit of grace, y'all. When I start making homemade breads again, holy but Jesus, like it's instantly gone. And I'm baking literally every other day, guaranteed. And it'll be like that for at least a month, sometimes 2 months, okay? Before everybody kind of starts relaxing and going, okay, yeah, we're accustomed to this now. It's not such a grand, like, oh, my bread, yay, kind of thing, okay? All right, so just remember, when you first get started, the amount of bread you need in the very beginning, excuse me, okay, so the amount of bread that you're going to need in the very beginning, when you first get started baking homemade breads, you're going to need to bake a lot more often, okay? And in some ways, that is a beautiful thing, because when you're just getting started, you actually need that practice, y'all. You need to get your hands in there and just keep pounding it out to see what works the best for you, what type of recipes work the best for you, what you enjoy making, and what you enjoy eating, and your family enjoys eating. So, for example, I'm a whole wheat eater. My family, on the other hand, they're all about potato breads and buttermilk breads and all those fine, beautiful, white, fine flour breads. I can't eat those. Literally, I can't. So, that's one reason why all of my recipes are designed in a very special, unique way, where you can quickly change them from white, half wheat, or whole wheat bread, because life changes. And it is easier to learn one thing at a time than it is to try to learn 10 things at a time. So it doesn't matter which recipe you choose from me. All of them can be made with a different mix of flours, with little to no change. Now, yes, there are certain things that you're going to have to tweak just a little bit on certain variations. So like a whole wheat, like a true whole wheat, I mean 100% whole wheat, there's no all-purpose like white flour added to it. I mean a true whole wheat. They're going to need a little more fat to them, and you're going to need to cut your flour back a little bit, because those whole grain wheats are going to soak up all that water faster, okay? So there are a couple little things like that that you need to know. And if you want to know how to do that, scroll back through some of our trainings, y'all. You can scroll through for days and days on the feed right here in this group alone and learn so much. There are so many videos and trainings and step by step, literally how I do this. Like, I give you guys so much free information that it is insane. In fact, some of my fellow coaches, they're like, Crystal, what are you doing? You can't give away that much free information. I'm like, yes, I can. I'm like, yes, I can. Because I want to help them start finding the basic success that they are needing right here in the right now. Not only when I'm offering my courses. And my courses are not a good fit for everybody, okay? So, for example, right now, I'm about to reopen the doors to Homemade Breads to the Busy Parent. This course is my baby, y'all. Oh, I've poured my heart and soul into this course. Ooh, it's good. And you know what? I threw the rule book out a few days ago, and we're going to do this one different than we have in the past, which means you get to have a whole lot more of one-on-one interactions with me, my dear, while you're baking, because I've changed some things, and I think you're going to love it. So this is a completely new way of me ever delivering this course, and I'm excited and I'm nervous all at the same time. Like, seriously, I'm like so nervous, like, oh. But it's like an excitement nervous, like, ooh, is this going to be really, really good? Or is this going to be, you know, extremely like frustrating? Or are my students really going to love it? I know that any of you that come and join me in Homemade Breads for the Busy Parent, especially this particular year, you are going to get so much more from this course than I've ever offered before. So much more. So, if you want to get in on all the amazing things for Homemade Breads for the busy Parent, and you don't want to miss out on a single one of these live session trainings, honey, make sure you click the link attached with this video, okay? It is bit.ly/busy parent waitlist, okay? Busy parent waitlist. All right, and I also have the link in the description. There's also a clickable version up in my bio. So we've got all your links in one place now, which is amazing. It's amazing. So it doesn't matter if you're wanting a free recipe or you're wanting to get on the Busy Parent waitlist, or like, ooh, if you want to get on that, you can do that. If you're looking at jewelry or you want to see what's coming up, all your links are there. Links to all of our social media pages, so you can find us wherever it is that is most convenient to you. All right, my dears, please jump down in the comments and let me know what your biggest takeaways have been on all of these classes that we're doing right now. And stay tuned, because we have so many more coming. Oh my gosh, there's so many more coming. So many more coming. Oh, so these are all like I write itty bitty. Each one of those is another class that we are doing live over the next little while. Oh, so cool. So cool. All right. If you want to get in on Homemade Breads for the Busy Parent, make sure you join the wait list so that you get special notice of when the doors open and all the information that you need to know, and to find out if it really is right for you and all the things that go along with it. If you want to have more information, I'm always available. Don't be afraid to ever shoot me a direct message, and I will gladly help you out as soon as I possibly can, and help you get over those hurdles. And the more you guys communicate with me down in the comments or through Messenger or even email, the more you guys connect with me, the more I can specialize these bread baking trainings and the upcoming tutorials and all the things to fit the problems that you are facing right now, not the problems that you may be facing a year from now. All right. The more you interact with me, the more relevant I can make all of these courses and all these mini trainings and classes and all the things, okay? And if you know or are a busy mom, a busy dad, a busy parent figure that never stops to take time for themselves, even though their heart is just yearning, your heart is like calling out, going, I just need to have some me time. And you have a desire to start baking homemade breads, honey, homemade breads for the Busy Parent course is your next step. I will walk you through step by step, hand in hand, through the entire baking process. I will walk you through step by step through how to actually manage that busy schedule so that you can stay on top of the house, you can stay on top of your work, and you can stay on top of consistently baking your homemade breads. We go into self and family respect so that you can make it be easier and funner and more enjoyable for you and your family while you're in the learning process. Okay? Because there are some very simple things that you can change in just the way that you speak to people that will change entire personalities, that make your life a whole lot easier because you're removing some of those misinterpretations of what it is that you think you're saying and what everyone else is actually hearing. And when there's good communication in the home, y'all, then guess what? Everybody gets along a whole lot easier, all right? And coolest part of all, one of the favorite modules of all of them is when my son Stoney actually steps in and becomes the teacher. So if you want to involve your kids in the baking process to learn side by side with you, that is a wonderful place to start. When my son literally teaches you to do exactly what it is that I do. He will teach you, and you know, honestly, kids learning from kids, it's so much easier than a kid trying to learn from us old people, okay? It's just funner to learn from another kid because that gives them that inspiration of going, hey, he's doing it. I could do that too. Just maybe I could do that too. And yes, y'all have been with me for a while, or if you're brand new to me, my kids are always involved in my kitchen. That includes even the babies, okay? So Belzy is 4 right now, and Ellie's on the verge of turning 3. And I'll tell you what, every one of my kids have grown up since they were just little in the kitchen, side by side with me, baking bread. And I'll tell you what, there are certain ages that are far harder to manage in a fun way and not lose your mind kind of way, or lose your temper and get stressed out and just overwhelmed with the whole thing, than other ages. Okay? And like anything with kids, it repeats, y'all. It repeats, okay? So, if you know someone that would be interested in learning how to do this so that they can actually stop running themselves ragged for their kids, for their families, and never stopping to take 10 minutes for themselves, I would love for you to share these classes out with them. I truly would. All right? So, my dears, we will talk to you all later. Make sure you get active in the comments. Let me know your biggest takeaways. And if you haven't caught our previous challenge days, please go back and watch them. Let me know what you love the most, what you found the most helpful, something that you are needing more help with. I'm here for you to support you and help you get to the finish line, to start making progress and finding that success that you are needing and wanting in making your homemade breads. And I'm going to make this so much easier for you than it was for me when I first started. All right, this is something you can do, and I truly believe that every single one of you are amazing and beautiful, and I can't wait to see your guys' amazing progress. So seriously, if you guys haven't reached out to me in a while and sent me some photos of what you've been creating at home, please do. Because it's been a hot minute since I've had some of those, and I'm kind of missing them, okay? Okay. So if these are helpful, make sure you let me know. All right, and most of all, if you've had problems baking this winter, scroll down below and find our Mastermind Winter Problem Solving Masterclass, okay? Because I made that one special for you, and oh, honey, it's so good, so good, so good. Seriously, bring a notebook. Bring a notebook and a pen or a pencil, because you're going to want to take notes, because I literally give you an entire brain dump of everything that is causing all of your problems with your winter baking in your kitchen with your homemade breads. All right, tune in tomorrow. All right, and I've got some fun little snippets coming up too. See you guys.